Hi, and in this episode, the Captain Thetethalas has been exploring the Barrow Dance and facing a mortal enemy of the former people of Arnor, the undead Wights. In this episode, we will take a brief look at the arts of necromancy in Middle-earth and how these spectral beings wreaked such havoc when Angmar invaded. Necromancy is the branch of sorcery concerned with the manipulation of spirits in Middle-earth. Sauron was frequently referred to as the Necromancer by some in the Third Age, but he didn't have the power to raise the dead. Even the most powerful Valar cannot do that, only Iluvatar himself. So necromancy is really the power to command spirits that are already abroad in Middle-earth. The original Dark Lord Morgoth first discovered that he could torture spirits whilst he was twisting elves into orcs. These spirits could then be bent to his will. Sauron learned the necromantic arts from his master and further developed his skills when Morgoth was banished and Sauron took his place as the Dark Lord of Middle-earth. The 9 rings for mortal men were the greatest act of necromancy that Sauron performed. The rings were made by the elves to slow down the passage of time and preserve their realms, but Sauron twisted them so that their power would work solely on their bearer. Giving these rings to men during the Second Age meant that they would live extremely long lives. This allowed them to become very powerful and rule for long millennia. However, men are not intended to live forever, and eventually it became more than their bodies could endure. They became beings of shadow, as their spirits lingered after their bodies faded. They were visible only to the one wearing the Master Ring of Power, and they themselves lost sight of the mortal world, relying on smell, sound, and the eyes of their servants. These wraiths became the most powerful of Sauron's servants, with the Witch King greatest of the 9. It was only possible to twist the rings given to mortal men in this way because the dwarves were resistant and the elves were immortal. Sauron also created Morgul Blades. These could hasten the decay of the body of its victim and turn them into a wraith in a matter of weeks, but they lacked the power of the ring wraiths, or Nazgul as they are known. Sometimes apparitions may be seen in the dark places of Middle-earth. Some of these are illusions, literally phantoms of Sauron's sorcery. He learned the power to create illusions far away in order to sap the will of his opponents. Sometimes these phantoms would take the form of a loved one in order to break an opponent or to discover information. But they are not really shades, they don't exist as undead, they are just illusions. The Wights, found in places such as the Barrow Dance near Bree, are the animated remains of long-dead men of Arnor. They are animated by evil spirits. The spirits could be Maiar, bound to the will of Sauron, former lieutenant of Morgoth. Or they may be the spirits of orcs, elves, or evil men pledged to the service of the enemy. Such spirits must be bound while their hosts still live, as even Sauron himself hasn't the power to compel them once they leave for their final rest. Sauron taught some of his necromancy to the Witch King. The Witch King founded Angmar approximately 1300 years into the Third Age, nearly 3 centuries after Sauron had taken on his new form as the Necromancer at Dol Guldur. With the formation of the realm of Angmar, the Lord of the Nazgul first became known as the Witch King. Shortly afterwards, the Witch King of Angmar set his sights on the divided realm of Arnor and used his necromantic arts in pursuit of this campaign. With his invasion faltering several centuries later, the Witch King sent evil spirits to the graves of Cardolan in what is now known as the Barrow Dance to animate the bones of the dead and fight against the men of the region and hold the victories that he had won. When the Witch King attacked Arthedain, another region of Arnor, he took Fornost as the capital of his conquest. However, Gondor, along with elvish allies, assaulted Fornost and drove the Witch King's forces out. Fornost fell into ruin, and it is believed to be haunted by the spirits of evil men. Whether this is true or not remains to be seen, but the dwarf champion Thetelin certainly seems to think so. It was at the Battle of Fornost that the powerful elf lord Glorfindel recited a prophecy for the Witch King. He will not return to these lands, far off yet is his doom, and not by the hand of man shall he fall. Some time ago, in the year 2941 of the Third Age, Mithrandir learned that the identity of the Necromancer of Dol Guldur was the Dark Lord Sauron himself. With the help of the White Council, Mithrandir expelled him from the ruins. Since then, Sauron and his Nazgul servants have been focusing on locating the newly surfaced Master Ring. So I hope you enjoyed this little look at the arts of necromancy in Middle-earth. If you did, then please click the like button and subscribe for further content. Comment below and share with others who may also be interested. And until next time, I'll see you later.